It's been a while since we checked on Poland. And as a channel that covers Poland and someday hopes to visit Poland, I think it's important that we try to stay up to date on what's going on. So today's video we're going to be reacting to is called Poland's Military Spend Packs, a punch to the face of Russian aggression. I'm not a historian, but I've learned a lot in my journey of reacting and learning through videos about Poland. So if you're Polish, let me know in the comments down below if anything I say, if there's any corrections or any questions that I have. I would love to see y'all in the comments because I do read them. With that said, also the link to the original video down in the description down in the description below, as always. With that all out of the way, let's get into it.
Every day you craft a piece of your world. You never let yourself think that this could ever change.
A slick TV commercial urges people to join the Polish military.
Polish armed forces, sometimes invisible, always there for you.
Warsaw announced recently that it's...
I'll be honest, that commercial was overexposed. Anyway, sorry, just a random little thing.
Planning to introduce military training for every adult male. Prime Minister Donald Tusk that it's planning to...
Hold up. Sorry.
Invisible, always there for you.
Warsaw announced recently that it's planning to introduce military training for every adult male. Prime Minister Donald Tusk said the country may well need an army of 500,000 troops. The reason? This man and his ambition for a greater Russia. Poland is just 700 miles or so from the front line in Ukraine, and after the experiences of the Second World War and half a century of Soviet rule, it's taking no chances.
I mean, that context given, I mean, that's a huge reason why, at least I've learned from you guys, why Poland is the way it is now. But I think as an American, I can tell you, as your economy becomes so much more stronger and impactful in the world, you do eventually need a military to protect, like a really significant military to protect it. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of the world hasn't realized because they've been so comfortable for so long. And I think obviously Poland kind of, I think, also saw this coming. You guys saw this happening, like that you needed, if you have a strong economy, you need a military to protect it regardless of aggression. But it's still surprising me that a lot of countries today want the economic growth but aren't willing to do whatever it takes to protect that economic growth, whether it's their borders, whether it's investing in local security, whether it's investing in technology in your country, or even investing in other countries that can guarantee your security, like partnering with the US a little bit more, over, spending more on military, or, there's so many, I mean, I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself, but you get what I'm saying. There's so many different ways you can go about it that require that when you have that strong economy, you should try to use it, not just hope for the best. You know what I mean?
Poland has a 330-mile border with Ukraine and a 250-mile border with Russia's ally Belarus, where Moscow has deployed tactical nuclear weapons. On Russian TV, Kremlin propagandist Vladimir Solovyov showed how Moscow views its western neighbor.
That's crazy. Ridiculous.
So what is Poland doing to protect itself from Russian aggression? Well, first of all, it has a plan to modernize its military and increase its defense industrial base. Warsaw is also spending a lot more money. Poland now spends a higher proportion of GDP on defense than any other NATO member.
Well, I will say this, though. I will say this.
Poland now,
as I don't know, respectfully or not respectfully to the other European countries, I'll be honest, Poland in the last 2 or 3 years, you guys are becoming the superpower over there. You guys are, in my opinion, the backbone of Europe. Okay. And if you're not now, I feel like you will be, not for various of reasons, whether it's your economy being so great now, like stronger than ever. The fact that you guys are able to retain talent in your country, because it's one of those things where, like, there's a lot of countries who have very talented and smart people in their citizenship, right? Their citizens, their population, but they either go to other countries or they move to the US. So it's really hard to there's a word for it. It's not where it's like intelligence stays in your country. The talented people stay in your country. You guys are also able to do that when a lot of the world is struggling with that. So I don't know. I really just think you guys are going to be the backbone of Europe, or not the backbone. I mean, the superpower over there. I wouldn't say backbone, because backbone feels like you're carrying everybody else, but I guess in a way you would be, right? But I just think you guys are going to be the new the superpower of Europe.
Spends a higher proportion of GDP on defence than any other NATO member. When Russia marched into Ukraine, Poland's armed forces were the 9th largest in the alliance. Now, 3 years on, they're 3rd behind Turkey and the US, with just over 200,000 active personnel, including a 90,000 strong regular army.
That's in 3 years? Y'all put that together? I feel like that's a little. Nah, that's not accurate. That seems too quick. Obviously, okay. Obviously, like there's always like you're building the foundations to be able to ramp up way before. But was it really like 3 years that y'all guys were able to? Because that means that how much growth did y'all experience in 3 years? Economically. Well, y'all really, there's all, y'all, I don't know the economic situation. Maybe we'll watch a video. Maybe we'll react to a video about the economics of Poland over the last couple of years. Because in order for that to happen, that means y'all are really popping off economically the last 3 years. I know y'all have, but that much? I don't know. That's just, not that I don't believe it. It just seems crazy.
A decade ago, Poland spent 1.9% of GDP on defence, around $10 billion. By 2024, that had risen to 4.2%, a spend of $28 billion, with plans to increase it to 4.7% this year. By comparison, Russia spends around 7% of GDP on its military, the UK 2.3%.
Which, just to let you, I mean, obviously, we all know just because you spend more doesn't mean it's better. But I just think it's like the fact that you got to consider like the size of Poland versus some of these other countries. It's actually kind of impressive. The economic output for something so small. Like the US, obviously, we don't have the largest population in the world, but what makes us impressive is the economic output for the size of the population. But then again, our landmass is really big and we have a lot of resources and shit like that. Whereas like if you look some of these smaller European countries, they even have smaller populations and they're not as big geography. Their geography isn't as big. Their territory isn't that big. So the economic output's even more impressive. So it's just crazy to see.
So lots of big numbers, but what is Poland spending this extra money on?
Exactly, that's what I want to know.
Well, some is going on personnel. Warsaw wants a land force of 300,000 in the next 5 years, a mix of regular, territorial and paramilitary units that will be bigger than the French and German armies combined.
Jesus Christ, dude. Holy shit. Is this accurate? I'm laughing. That's in 3 years. Y'all really scaled up. Like, I need to look up how much y'all's economy is like, because that's crazy. How do y'all have that money to ramp up that fast? But even damn, dude, have I not really? You know, I really thought like, not that I say like I'm a Polish expert because I'm not, but I really thought I got an understanding of like, I understand you guys are impressive, but I didn't. That's fucking crazy, dude. Y'all don't play around. Jesus.
It's also been shopping, buying large amounts of new kit, both to replace the equipment it's donated to Ukraine and to increase Poland's lethality. The focus has been on heavy weapons. Poland has nearly 700 main battle tanks, among them South Korean K2 Black Panthers.
Those are pretty good. Or at least I've seen online that those are pretty good tanks.
German Leopards of various types, and American Abrams, as well as several hundred PT-91s, a Polish variant of the Soviet T-72. And that's just for now. In total, Poland has ordered 1,300 tanks, including more than 800 Black Panthers and 250 of the latest version of the Abrams.
Jesus Christ. Y'all are not, y'all are saying, y'all are literally like, if we have to fight by ourselves, we will. And you know, it's honestly, this is kind of embarrassing for the other European countries who aren't doing their part. Now, granted, a lot of more countries are starting to ramp up, right? They're starting. I don't know. Y'all can let me know in the comments if you even think that's fair to excuse that, like excuse that they're just like they should have ramped up a lot sooner, right? Now, am I going to expect every country to ramp up as fast as Poland has in 3 years? To me, that I'm baffled. That was I'll be honest, I still don't believe it was 3 years because that's crazy fast, right? And the fact that you have this much buying power in 3 fucking years is insane to me. But anyway, yes, I do think it's at least good that other European countries are finally starting to do what they did. They need to, rather than, fucking waiting for Poland to solve everyone's problems.
It's even opened an Abrams tank academy in Poznań. Artillery is another area where Poland's investing. It already has 800 artillery pieces.
Jesus Christ. That's good, though. That's good. Yeah.
But it's buying more. After donating 18 Krab self-propelled howitzers to Ukraine, Poland's now buying another 182 of them, bringing the total in the Polish army to just over 200. Warsaw has also ordered 200 South Korean K9 Thunder self-propelled howitzers, and its land forces are getting 96 Apache AH-64.
96 Apaches, bro. Y'all guys are really not playing around. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude.
Or attack helicopters in a deal worth $10 billion. Poland's also investing in its small and aging navy, tripling its tonnage with the aim of playing a more important role in policing the Baltic Sea. Warsaw's buying 3 new frigates based on the design of the Royal Navy's new Type 31, with the option to buy 5 more. And with 128 missiles on board, they'll actually be better armed than their British equivalents. Finally,
well, because you're buying the newer version, right? Like, it would be different. This is one of the things that I'm learning. I might react to more military videos. I don't know if I will, though, because I'm not an expert. But one of the things that I guess you can let me know in the comments about this. But I've been learning that one of the things that is like a hiccup for a lot of countries that want to modernize the military. Obviously, the US is like the bigger seller. And like, we have a lot of the most advanced shit. But the thing is, it's like, they can't make jets for everybody all the time because, it's just back orders and stuff like that. What I found was interesting is, like, let's say if I'm a country that wants to buy from the US, or like the best fighter jet, right? For example, I have to wait for those jets to get there, but that's assuming that there wasn't a deal done with another country, and now I have to wait. And now I have these older jets and shit that are just sitting there. And it's like, do I buy other jets from other people? Do I try to repair these? Like, there's a whole lot of shit that I never understood that there. I mean, like, I expected it. It makes sense, but there's just so much to buying shit as a country that it's like, if you're a country that really doesn't have money, you're kind of fucked, because all these other countries, like, even if you had the money to afford it, you're stuck in line. All these other richer countries are like, no, we'll just fucking, like Saudi Arabia. Oh yeah, we'll just whatever, name your price. Just put us in front of the line. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's like, it's just crazy. That's why also too, with like you guys, Polish people ramping up in 3 years, after me learning that and then learning this, it's like, yo, how the fuck are you ramping up this fast? It's incredible. It's incredible. But that means it also goes back to the idea of buying power, the fact that you're actually using your buyer power and your influence in the world stage. Crazy.
There's Poland's Air Force, which is also getting a big injection of money. It currently has 85 combat aircraft, including 14 MiG-29s, 48 F-16 Fighting Falcons, and 12 South Korean Fa-50 light attack or trainer jets. In 2020, Poland signed a $4.6 billion deal to buy 32 conventional takeoff and landing F-35As between now and 2030. The first two of these were delivered in December, and the initial group of Polish F-35 pilots completed their training in the US this week. For Poland, which like many countries reduced defence spending after the Cold War, the invasion of Ukraine has been a pivotal moment. There's discussions with France about stationing nuclear weapons on Polish territory, transforming itself into a regional watchkeeper and a military powerhouse.
But let me ask you this, Polish people, do you want to take on that responsibility though? Because the thing is, like, let's look at, like, as an American, I'm looking on the outside, right? You guys are one of the closest countries to Belarus and Russia. So no matter what, you're going to get the brunt of it up front, right? But do you really want, like, I still think you should get nuclear weapons. That's just my, like, stationing weapons there. Like, I just think that's smart. But if you're carrying so much of the burden, like, you got to start holding the other European countries accountable for that. Because what you're doing is impressive. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being cynical about other European countries, but you guys, like, this is really impressive. And if hopefully the rest of the world can actually catch up and not just try to be like, all right, we'll just let them deal with it. Kind of like what people do with the US, right? They just kind of let us try to deal with it. Which, in fairness, some countries have contracts with us to try to deal with it, but I don't know.
Tommy Newton, the FBS Forces News.
Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I am actually kind of shocked. I didn't know what I was going to expect from this video. I really thought I was just going to get some, like, policy thing or, like, some numbers, but I didn't think over 3 years. It just doesn't seem but that's crazy. Anyway, that's more of a compliment to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think about all this spending? Do you think you should be using this economic boost to protect your country, or should you be investing it in other things? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Love you guys. Check out the next one. Bye-bye. This video is brought to you actually by viewers like you. Thank you so much for subscribing and being part of my journey and allowing me to be a part of yours. Let's create new memories this 2025 on our road to 1 million subscribers. And with all that jazz out of the way, I just want to say thank you so much. I love y'all and enjoy the video.